You guys keep
I can ask him. Yeah, I'll ask him.
Oh, this would be good.
Favorite Halloween costume?
Favorite Halloween costume? I hate to break it to you. I don't have one. That's the crazy part. I don't really, I'm supposed to really celebrate Halloween like that, so it's just like it's hard for me to kind of like recollect the last time that I celebrated Halloween for real. But from pictures, from what I've seen, my mom and dad put me in a skunk outfit when I was about like 1 years old, 2 years old. So let's just say that one. Let's say.
How about Halloween candy?
Halloween candy? Reese's. Reese's, yes. Yes.
Had two last night.
Same here.
For real? See y'all good. Y'all good.
Do you have a maximum that you could have on a Tuesday during game week?
I'm just gonna go ahead and just get the simple pack that has like 2 in there, and I'm just gonna keep it rolling. I wanna give myself a sugar rush or something, you know what I'm saying?
A little bit of protein in a Reese's.
Yeah.
Kevin, how was practice today? And how is Coach Chizik kind of approaching this week? It's pretty much the same thing. He said.
Practice went really well today. A lot of guys brought a lot of energy today, which is what we needed. And Coach Chiz's approach, man, we gonna keep on doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? I know for the past couple of weeks it hasn't been, we haven't put all the puzzle pieces together. But that's the greatest thing about college football. You know, it's any given week. So with this week going against Campbell, man, they got some good guys. They got a lot of guys out of the transfer portal, so they got a really good team as well. But for us, right now, it's just for us to focus on what we got going on. We're not trying to out-scheme anybody. We're not trying to, focus on anything that's outside of us. And so right now, we're just putting the game plan together. We don't have everything set in for sure yet, but Coach Chizs has a good plan going into this week, and I'm very confident in what we're going to be running this weekend.
What was the biggest problem in that fourth quarter, stopping their running game? You feel like did the tempo affect you guys, or what was it? Just did they change things up scheme-wise and gave you problems?
I think last time that I was up here, when we were talking about Virginia, Georgia Tech did the same way. They came ready to play. They had a lot of great adjustments to what we had going on. I would say the biggest thing for us was just misfitting. And for us to have a good of a defense as we did in the first half of the year, that was unacceptable on our part. But we watched film about it. We took care of it. We're fixing a lot of the things that we did wrong last week and the week before. So that's probably the biggest output that I took from the last game. But this game, football, man, everybody's not perfect, so we're just going to move on from that and keep it rolling.
I was going to say, one of the biggest plays of the game, obviously, looked like you had a tackle for a loss on Smith, and the next thing you know, the quarterback's taking off down the field.
Yeah, so that was a designated play. I was supposed to tackle the dive anyway. That's just kind of like one of the parts of the misfit. It's just like we didn't have a quarterback player on that. But, like I said, we're going to take care of that. We're honing on the little things this week. We even had like a whole 2 periods where we were just focusing on nothing but run fits and our stunts and whatever that we had going on. So we're gonna hunker down on like making sure that everybody knows their responsibility, what job you're supposed to have, and make sure that you execute.
Okay, so to go off that a little bit, you kind of mentioned obviously Virginia and Georgia Tech were able to make adjustments to what you guys were doing. Do you feel there's been anything the last couple of weeks that you haven't been that you maybe have moved away from, kind of in comparison to those first 6 games, like anything specific you can kind of point to that's been different?
There's not really anything specifically that I can point to what we've been doing in the first 6 games and in the past 2 ones. There's not really anything that comes to mind in that. I just know, because, to be honest with you, a lot of our plays run into each other, so it's just for me, it's kind of hard to recollect all of them. But there's not really anything in particular that I can point out to what we moved away from, what we added, and so on and so forth.
We talked to Sid after the game Saturday night, and he was talking about the fourth quarter, and he said he thought there was a lot of confusion out there for you guys. Yeah. How did you feel the same way? Were you feeling that too? And why do you think that is for a defense that sort of a veteran group that has been playing so well this season?
I would agree with Seth on that one. There was a little bit of confusion alongside with Misfits as well. I feel like one of the biggest things was the tempo part of it. Georgia Tech really executed the tempo really well, so hats off to Georgia Tech for that. But I feel like there was some confusion amongst us as a defense, and like you said, we're a veteran defense. We should know where we're supposed to fit. But you know, that's just something that we have to focus on this week, which we are as well. So we don't know where the confusion came from. We've talked about it. I know in the Jack room we talked about a little bit of the confusion and the misfits and everything that came with it. And I'm sure that the inside backers did, D-line did, secondary did. So why was there confusion? I don't know. But, you know, we just got to move on from it and then, you know, make sure that we don't do it against Campbell.
Can you explain the concept of misfit a little more about what you mean exactly, so people who maybe don't know understand?
Yeah, so like basically what a misfit is like, you know, we're given plays and you're supposed to fit a certain gap, or you run a certain stunt, or you're dropping in coverage and you're supposed to go to a certain spot and cover a certain man. So whatever the nuances for it. Mm-hmm. And a misfit is that you don't execute it. So it's just like you're not in a place that you're supposed to be, you didn't execute the play, and you weren't guarding the guy that you were supposed to. Things of that nature.
So did they do things that weren't on film then? I mean, that seems like the obvious reason, but.
I mean, like there was a lot of things that we saw on film that, you know, that we knew that we're going to run and we still misfit, and then also some things just as any good football team would, they're going to make adjustments. They're going to run some plays that we haven't seen on film as well to adjust to what our defense is. So, you know, it can go all the way across the board, but yeah, that's pretty much what a misfit is.
What about
what does
this
the leadership look like for you guys now after, you know, this low point they're at?
Just keep everybody upbeat, move on to the next week. You know, we didn't win the past 2 games. All right, keep it on the bridge, water under the bridge, and keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? We can't cry over spilled milk. We can only control what we can control. We can control what we got going on this week, and just make sure we get the W against Campbell.
What about these last 2 games surprised you the most, especially about what you guys did on your side of the ball?
I mean, what surprised me the most is just how much confusion that we had, a lot of the misfits that we had. I feel like that was the most surprising to me, because some of the plays that we've been running since South Carolina. But I mean, like I said, people aren't perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and so mistakes happen, and just like 1 or 2 plays are the difference makers in the game. And so if somebody misfits, there can be 10 guys that can fit in the gap, and then there's 1 guy that misses, and the next thing you know, that's a catastrophic play. And so that's just the sport of football. But you know what I'm saying, that's probably what surprises me the most. But like I said, kind of like just to clear the air, whatever happened in the past 2 games has happened, and we're going to move on from that. And I feel like this team is doing a really good job of moving on from that, moving on from the 2 losses, and making sure that we just focus on this week and with this week alone, and then whatever happens this week happens, and then we move on to the next.
As a follow-up to that, you guys have really been very efficient at making adjustments work through the first 6 games. Why has that been a little bit of an issue the last 2 games? Because Gene said some adjustments were attempted, didn't really get executed as much. Why do you think that is?
Be honest with you, I don't know how to answer that question. That's something that I can't really answer right now. But you know, like I said, we're gonna move on from that. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to disregard your question, but you know what I'm saying, just kind of like move on going into this week, make sure that we don't fall into that same category.
Well, staying on that, since what you just said, I mean, a lot of people on this side of where you guys are may not fully understand. You guys are entrenched in your next week now, and you're told to cut the cord to the game, I guess 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So when you're getting questions about what happened the last 2 weeks, and here it is, you've already had your Tuesday practice, your first Campbell practice, how challenging is that to sort of think back when you got to look forward?
I mean, like the thing is about looking back, you can obviously just make sure that you don't make the same mistakes twice. And so I feel like we've definitely, we right now, we are looking back over the games like, what did we mess up on? What are the things that we didn't do well? What are the things that we did do well? So it's like, it can kind of weed out some of the plays that we ran in the last game that didn't work, can it? And if the plays that work, we're going to keep and kind of like tweak some things at the same time. And so that's kind of like the best thing about looking back over it and also moving forward at the same time, because what we can do is just with the plays that work, that were efficient, we're going to keep, move forward with it. If we have to make some tweaks, we will. And some of the plays that we don't need, then we won't use them unless there's a time that we actually need to do them. So
I need to ask one more follow-up to that, if you guys will let me here. Gene said yesterday that one of the things that the coaches need to do a better job is keeping you guys to practice tackling in space into the season. He thought maybe that was an issue the other night. Did you guys work on tackling in space at all today?
I feel like we do a lot of tackling in open space when it comes to doing our run fits, our inside zone, our team periods, stuff like that, and then also our team run periods as well. So we get a lot of good reps of tackling in open space as well. I feel like we're going to definitely start working more open space tackling drills as the week goes on, especially with us going in tomorrow's practice and Thursday's practice as well. So I feel like Coach Chizz is going to start making that a priority going into this week.
Kaimon, I was going to ask you.
Obviously, one of your goals this year was to get back to the ACC Championship. With the 2 conference losses now, the odds are a little longer for that to happen than they were. Was there a moment, since the Georgia Tech game ended, where you sort of thought about that and were just like, well, now what?
No. Every week we got to take care of everything week by week. Championship is something that we don't really speak on as a defense right now, because the only way to get to the championship in order to reach a championship, you have to have the championship mentality, but not look forward to it. You have to take care of each and every game, one game at a time, one practice at a time, one day at a time. And so, we can't look too far ahead. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the ACC Championship. That's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed for anybody. So for us, if that is our goal for right now, we have to make sure that we have to take care of each and every week, start with Campbell, and then moving on from then on out. So there wasn't a doubt in my mind that after the Georgia Tech loss, that we weren't going to reach to where we want to go. Like, there's still a lot of opportunity left in the air. We still have a chance to create an impact for this university, and that's our goal, and that's what we still plan to do.
Kaimon, I wanted to ask you about Coach Chizz. He seems like such an even dude. Does he ever get mad? And has he been angry with these last 2 defensive performances from your perspective?
No, he's pretty much even killed as you see him. There's not really a time that I could point out being mad unless it's just something at practice. If anything, he gets more mad at practice than he does around game time because he doesn't want anybody to see him sweat. So, Coach Chizz, he obviously knows these past 2 weeks wasn't our best ball, and he has taken accountability to it. He's owned up to it, and that's just kind of a man of integrity that he is. And so, he understands that this, like I said, it wasn't our best ball, so we're going to move on from it. And I feel like he's doing a great job of moving on from that and making adjustments and making sure to put us in the best positions to succeed.
Sorry.
I had one, but I'll come back. You go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a second ago you had mentioned cannon plays that don't work, if they're not, working or whatever. Is that a collaborative process between you all and Chizik? Is that a thing of, hey, we don't like this play, or Chizik says, I don't like this play? What is that?
It's a collaborative effort. It's just if we feel like Coach Chizz, what I enjoy about him as well is just if it's something that if we feel as a defense is not as effective, he's gonna what do y'all think about it? Do y'all think this is gonna be effective? Yes or no, and why? Whether that is a yes, why? If it's no, why? And so it's a good collaborative effort on why we feel like we should keep a play or why we shouldn't keep a play.
Down there Saturday night, when Tez went down,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw it was you, Drake, and Javari, you guys prayed over it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask you about what that moment was like, just for you to watch and experience. I'm sure, I don't know, fear was involved. Just what all of that was like for you to watch, and why did you want to say a prayer?
Well, first off, any brother that goes down on the field, and doesn't get up immediately, that hurts you as a person, because not only is a teammate down, that's your brother down, that's the person that you care about is down. And so for me, anytime that somebody is in that position to where they feel as of right now, they're not really popping up, or it's just you go over there and they do a little 2-minute talk, make sure you're okay, and then you sit you up and they jog off, he didn't do that. And so for me, the first thing I could do is pray. That's the only thing I know how to do when it comes down to something that I can't control, but I feel like there's something that I can contribute. And so that's something that my parents have instilled in me at a very young age. If somebody is sick, if somebody is going through something, if somebody's got something going on mentally, something that's far out of your control, the best thing that you can do is pray for that person and wish them the best and hoping that they recover from whatever they got going on. And so me, Javari, and Drake, we were all thinking the same thing, just making sure that Chizz was going to be okay, whatever he had going on. And, fortunately, and that he was blessed enough to come out of the hospital the next day and just make sure everything was fine and stuff. And so just seeing that he's a lot better, you know, makes me feel a lot better.
It does sound like he's doing a lot better. Were you careful in dapping him up when he got back because you knew he took the big hit, or did you just grab him and like what was it like when you saw him when he got back?
Dabbed him up, hugged him, and said, "Happy you okay?"
Did they show the replay in the stadium? I guess they did. They did not show it?
If they showed the replay, I didn't pay attention to it.
Okay.
Fingers, yeah, the pink fingernail is Cancer Awareness Month. Is that what that's for?
Yep.
What is the inspiration for that specifically?
The inspiration for it, sadly, I didn't do it last year because I was just so booked up and I didn't really think about it. But one of the biggest things for me is just like a lot of women on my mother's side was involved in breast cancer and suffered from breast cancer. So it was just like for me, I wanted to dedicate every October, you know, to go around or at least try to get at least, you know, ironically the middle finger painted, but you know, I ain't finna flick off nobody around here. My mom would not be too happy with me doing that. So that's just kind of like my little funny way of just saying, you know, forget breast cancer, you know, anything that comes with it. And that goes for not just breast cancer, but any other type of cancer that has going on. And so, you know, that's just kind of like my little...
Has it been on all 31 days?
Not all 31 days. It's been on for 2.5 weeks. I need to get it taken off because it's actually starting to chip on all of my fingers. So I'm gonna hit up the nail salon at some point and hopefully they can take it off.
As a side note to that, can you imagine getting flicked off by a dude with a pink fingernail?
Yeah, but that's why I wear gloves. Nobody can see it. So you know, this is for my own, and this is for my own support. So yeah, no, I'm gonna get it taken off. But you know, the support never goes away. The awareness never goes away. So whether that I have it on or whether that I don't, you know, I'm still advocating against breast cancer and everything, and any type of cancer that comes with it, because nobody deserves to go through that. So
That would be a sack TFL from your mom, is what you're saying.
I mean, not for my mom per se, but you know what I'm saying, anybody that goes through it.
You know what I'm saying? You said she would get mad at you.
Oh yeah, she would get mad at me. My dad too, everybody, all the family.
How many comments have you gotten since you put that on?
Not much, because nobody really sees it. So it's just like, you know, I mean, people have seen like glimpses of pink, and it's like, especially my uncle, he was like, "Bro, do you have your nails painted?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I was like, "You gotta say it quick." I'm like, "Yes, but it's for a reason." So
No fellow students? Or you think they're maybe afraid to ask you?
nah, I mean, why? You know what I'm saying? Nah, nobody
I can
really
imagine
asked
why
me.
they would.
It's more common than
They don't know you like we do.
Yeah, nah, nobody's asked me though. Nobody's asked me.
All right, good?
Thanks,
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, Cameron. Thanks,